Alrighty. So that you didn't have to bother actually seeing my face today, I've decided that you can look at the dash. I'll turn it around. No, that's taking a photo. What the fuck? Hang on. What have I done? Zoom. Alright. For whatever reason, I'm not sure I can turn the camera around, so I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it. Go up my windows. Alrighty. We'll just make this into a podcast then, rather than a video. I'd rather be doing podcasts anyway, to be honest, because nobody wants to look at my ugly mug. While I talk absolute shit sometimes about very little, but I seem to say a lot. So a bad habit of mine is using too many words to, make a simple point. But I'm aware of that. I'll work on that one. But yeah, so I thought while I was driving home, I might just touch on things like meditation and mindfulness, and why those things are so important to self-transformation, and why they're so important in developing self-awareness. Now, I don't know if I've talked much about it in this, but it's something that I teach any student or anybody that asks or shows interest in meditation. You always want to start with the fundamentals of meditation. The fundamentals of meditation are what they are: breath work and posture. So breathing and posture are your two most important factors in, sort of learning to meditate properly. But really, they're the most important things for developing real self-awareness. Because awareness of your posture and relaxation. So when I said posture, I also mean relaxation. But being able to still be in control of the body and still having, it's almost like strength of character, but for the body. So, in a meditative, not necessarily stance, but if you're sitting meditative position, the meditative posture displays very strong character, which is important. It's important to, the aesthetics might not seem important, but it's funny how aesthetics really do make a difference, not just to the people observing you, but also to yourself and to the development of your own personal powers, to your development of magnetism, or rather your control of magnetic power. So we focus first on our posture and we focus first on our breath. But always what comes first is relaxation and posture. So what you really want to do is you want to focus on every single aspect of your body, from the toes to the top of the head. And you want to run through all those. You can do it the opposite way around too if you like, but I find symbolically bringing ourselves up from the ground, from the earth, because when we're going into this meditation and we're sort of reaching these higher states, symbolically, the head, the mind is representative of those higher states and is associated with higher states. So working your way up to that, bringing yourself, lifting yourself, elevating yourself beyond the purely physical and material ground that we walk on, is highly symbolic and important, in my opinion. But whichever way you want to go, head down, feet up, doesn't matter. What you really want to do is you want to focus on tensing those muscles and really feel into your muscles and let them relax. So first, by turning your attention towards them and tensing them and wiggling them, and then letting them go, and you'll find as you do that, your muscles really properly let go and It's easier then, once you have managed to relax your whole body from head to toe or toe to head. That's when you can really start to identify areas of discomfort, so it helps you to be able to identify the areas that need work, or you might have a pain in your side you didn't realise before that was hindering you. You're going to pick up on all these things that have actually been, barriers and blockages to your own personal development that maybe you didn't realise before. And you have to see all these things as barriers to your development. Therefore, once identified, you have to work on how you can remedy them, heal them. It's always a process of identification, analysis, and correction. So you do that, and you work on relaxing your body and making sure that you've got that strong character in your posture that displays a sort of an inner strength, and it takes some working on. But when you're sitting there with your shoulders, edged backwards, and your shoulder blades in slightly, with your neck straight, your chin in and down, it really displays it displays a mysterious strength, and you can feel it, that the energies around you flow better. I would recommend, if I was you, if I was anyone listening perhaps, what I would do is just, have a look at some of Donna Eden's work, do some work with energy medicine, and do some of those energy exercises and working on the neurolymphatic pressure points. And you'll really start to notice a different flow of energy in your body. You can redirect and correct any blockages. You can get your energy flowing in the correct direction, working with you and with nature rather than against you and against nature. So, I recommend for this part of the practice, for, really getting in touch with your body and with your posture and with your breath as well, to do that. Have a look at Donna Eden and her work and her family's work. And then obviously next is the breathing, and really it's conscious breathing. It's getting your it's another corrective process of getting you to breathe properly. And at first it takes a lot of focus, so you're going to be focusing on rhythmic breathing, so bringing rhythm back to your breathing. Correct, deep, steady, deliberate breaths. And the way I was taught was to a 4-2-4-2 count. So breathing in for 4, holding for 2, breathing out for 4, holding for 2, to your comfortable count. That I think even maybe I got it partly from Israel Regardie, but that was sort of the thing that one of my teachers taught me as well, because he studied Golden Dawn magic and stuff like that. So of course he was teaching similar things. There's all sorts of different patterns you can use, and you'll find ones that are comfortable for you. I think the 4-2-4-2 is, for me, it seems to be just the most natural, most comfortable breathing pattern. It's not too long, but it's not too short either. And the way I do it is I'm actually quite a slow breather, slow, deep breather. Whereas my partner's quite a fast breather, so I noticed that her 2 in and out breaths for my 1 in and out breath. I have decisively bigger lungs. So you've got all that. You've got your breathing down, and you want to really focus on that until it becomes a natural thing. You don't want to strain yourself in any of this process either. And then that's your fundamentals before you've even started meditating. It's funny because before you've even gone into a meditation, you've begun a meditation, which is really cool. How the whole process is the meditation. Get it out of your heads as well. If it's in your head, if you're beginning and you're sort of starting out on your journey and you're interested in meditation and spiritual practices, try to remove it from your minds that you're going to get all these miraculous powers and gains. Will you be able to, say, read minds or control the weather? And the answer is yes. I mean, if that is truly... if you want to go down that path, you can go down that path, and I think the focusing on it, you'll have negative results. I think control of the weather is genuinely possible because I've seen it done. Reading minds, or to a point I've done myself, like had telepathic experiences where I've communicated with people entirely telepathically without words and heard people's thoughts before they spoke. That happens quite regularly, and you're getting in touch with some truly subtle forces that are immeasurable. They're not measured by modern day science, so of course it can't be confirmed, but even some scientific experiments have, shown the power of consciousness and of conscious direction. Will you be able to do some miraculous things? Most certainly, sure, but don't make that the goal. Because essentially, you look in the tarot, if we look at the card, the devil, if you boil it down, that's the basics of that key, is to not get caught up in, this chasing power of, trying to harness power, trying to control demons, trying to, getting obsessed with material gains, which is what those sorts of powers, they're not a spiritual gain, they are a material force, and you're bringing about material results. And if you stay too focused on that, you're not going to, you're really too much focused on that, you're limiting your capacity to really work with the higher divine forces. And alignment with them is so much more important, especially now, because at the moment we are locked in such a brutal metaphysical war, that's raging on behind the scenes, behind COVID, behind this next, potential World War III. There is a war looming. It's a spiritual battle that has been fought for centuries, and now more than ever, we're sort of at a point where there seems to be less and less, warriors of the light, so to speak, out there. People who are truly in touch with the right-hand path. So, yeah, we need more soldiers on the good side of things, and we need to be training them the right way. So, that's what I'm trying to do. And I think that's what, people like Mark Passio are trying to do as well, where he teaches natural law. Great stuff to look at if you've never looked at this sort of stuff before. Mark Passio gives some great, long, in-depth, incredible speeches and seminars on natural law and how we can apply it, how we can, essentially live in harmony with the natural way of order of things. I say, and I always repeat, I'll make sure I repeat in all videos and podcasts that I do, I repeat his law of freedom with my own adaptation as well. That as morality increases, freedom increases, and as morality declines, freedom declines. I'll always repeat that. Moral action leads inevitably, so right action leads inevitably to freedom and liberty. Whereas immoral action, we know, only ever leads to slavery. Immorality is the antithesis of freedom. And, I sort of say that when we sacrifice our moral virtues in favour of immoral actions, we effectually sign pacts with demons. And anybody who understands occult principles will understand what I mean by that, I think. It just basically means that, whenever we do immoral acts, whenever we commit wrong in the world, when we don't act right, when we don't use our best discrimination towards, right action, we essentially are feeding into the demonic realm. We feed into demonic entities and we give our power to them. Essentially, immoral actions are a relinquishment of our personal power. And so have a think about that too. Meditation, once we've gotten to that point, we've done that breath work, we've gotten in touch with our bodies, and we've really developed some body awareness. Then you can move into the actual meditations itself and use that as a chance to observe how your body feels. Use it as in the initial stages, just watch for where you're uncomfortable. Keep mindful of that. Don't dwell on it when it happens, but just when you get a nervous tick or an aching shoulder, note that down. Put attention towards it for a second. Continue on with your meditation. Bring your attention back to nothingness, back to the stream of thought or whatever. And then at the end, all these thoughts and feelings that pop up, just jot them down, because that putting them down on paper, that getting them out, recording them. You're not just recording them physically on paper, you're recording them, in the sort of the Akashic records, or your own personal Akashic records, in the subconsciousness. And by making the subconscious stuff conscious, it starts to correct itself, over time. Eventually these feelings are lessened. I'm not going to say that they necessarily, maybe they never stop, but they begin to lessen their impact, and you'll be able to focus more. Because generally, acknowledgement, your body will begin to correct everything that is out of balance, because you're recognizing and acknowledging and taking responsibility for the imbalances, and as a result of that acknowledgement, your subconsciousness will recognize them as a negative and begin correction all on its own. So, this process of recording everything down and noting down those little things is really important as well. And a lot of people don't think it is, but it is. It's one of the more important things. It is a fundamental, basic principles of meditation and mindfulness. So look, I'm going to leave it at that, because I just want you to think about those little things and start putting those little things into practice if you can. See how you go. If you're having a lot of success, hit me up in the comments or whatever, and we can chat a bit more about it. If you need a little bit more help, if you're looking for a little bit more guidance, or you've got questions that you want answered, you never know. I might be able to answer them for you, or I might be able to point you in the right direction. I have been studying occultism and spiritual practices for quite a few years now. And I've studied with a couple of organisations as well, Rosicrucians, as well as Builders of the Aditum. I've studied, Golden Dawn magic and done some self-initiation in that. So, don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to reach out, to people who are also, on their journey walking the path. We're all neophytes. We're always going to be neophytes. We're all initiates. We're all beginning. Every single day is a new, beautiful day for us to learn and grow and become, hopefully, better human beings. Actually, before I do go, I think, that's another important point to sort of get at. Avoid this how do I say it? Avoid getting caught up in the trying to be more than human, trying to be beyond and better than human, to trying to leave the human world behind, because it's the world that we've been given to operate in. I mean, the human realm, the plane of Asaya, that material world is the one we've been given to operate in. The physical world is the world of the magician, and this is where we have all our tools. This is where, we exist as beings, and it's where we can make the greatest impact. So we have to look after this physical world. We have to look after ourselves, and we have to learn not to be more than human, but to be more human, to be more truly and naturally what we are born to be. Anyway, guys, much love and peace profound. Take care. Much love.